Hi, my name is Micah. I'm a second-year nursing student at Trinity Western University, and currently I live in Richmond with my family of 5, and I'm a middle child. When I was younger, I actually used to go to these appointments with my brother because he was diagnosed with cancer. He used to go almost weekly to the BC Children's Hospital to receive treatment. And I remember when he went to get his lightbox treatment, he would often be so afraid just going in. But it was actually the nurses who helped comfort him and made him feel like he belonged. And just seeing the type of actions and relationships I had with my brother, especially treating him as a patient, made me want to form those same type of relationships when I became a professional. So that's why I decided to become a nurse. I used to actually go to RCS when I was in elementary school and in middle school, and I actually remember seeing Jean Ip being one of the large donors for giving scholarships to graduates. So when I was in university, I remembered this foundation and I decided to apply again. I'm actually independently paying for my tuition, which is about $27K yearly. So receiving this scholarship was a huge help, especially because during the summer, I actually was working 3 jobs in order to pay for it. But now, because of the scholarship, I don't need to work as many jobs and I can focus more on my education. I was actually able to receive $5,000 from the GNIP Foundation, which I'm extremely grateful for. Honestly, when I found out I won the scholarship, I was super happy because it was going to help pay for a large portion of my tuition. I remember telling my family about it, and I think we're all pretty overjoyed about it, but that was basically it. It was just an amazing feeling, just this burst of happiness. So because of this scholarship, it's actually allowed me to continue down the pathway of nursing, especially since it's so expensive, and it's just allowed me to pursue my passion further and just continue to help other people. So my next goal after I graduate is I plan to work in the workforce for a few years just to gain experience, getting that nursing mindset, getting those patient interactions, just all of that. And then I plan to actually return to university and hopefully study and become a nurse practitioner because I want to help clients further and actually be able to prescribe medications. I just want to say I'm so grateful for the contribution to me and their generosity, as because of them I can just continue to become a nurse, continue to actually be able to help other people and just pursue my passion. Without them, it wouldn't be possible.